When someone starts a business, a lot of times when the business is early on or if it's one of the first ventures that someone started, the focus becomes on the work. How do I get more sales? How many more calls do I have to make? What emails do I have to answer? What problems do I have to solve? More on the very specific tactical items. And while that's important, I think as entrepreneurs evolve, you go through different phases. And after you pass this first phase of doing the work, it's really important to take a reassessment and make sure that the vision for your company and your long-term plan aligns with the work that you're doing today. This type of audit is exactly what I'm going through myself, and I'm going to share the insights, tactics, and strategies that I've used to help reframe my mindset to align it with what I'm doing in my business today. My name is Ryan Richards. I'm the host of the Long Game podcast, and our objective is to talk to the minds of operators. We want to know, what are business owners thinking? How are they building systems to scale and getting themselves out of the day-to-day rut of being a worker in their business rather than a CEO or visionary? So if you enjoy conversations like this, then you're going to love today's solo episode. I'm someone who believes that entrepreneurship comes in phases. I've talked about this before in recent episodes, but entrepreneurs start first in a business by doing the thing. Because before you are going to start to hire or implement systems or build to grow, you have to first be good at the thing. If your job is to sell cars, well, first learn sales. Learn how to talk to people. Learn how to get in front of more customers. Learn the products you're selling. You're gathering information and transferring that to your end product or service. So you have to first go through that inevitable phase. You can't just jumpstart into being a CEO, typically. You have to earn your stripes, learn the knowledge, and learn those skills. But typically what happens in that phase is it's input equals output. What I mean by that is, oftentimes entrepreneurs think at this stage in the journey, if I want to go make more money or do more service or create more products, I have to do more work, yourself as the entrepreneur. So typically the outcome is correlated with how much work or effort you're putting into the business. I need to work more hours to do better. I need to make more phone calls. I need to work weekends. I need to work nights. Whatever the case may be, you always equate the outcome to more work, more effort. But in the beginning, you kind of have to. You don't have the capital or the systems or the trust, the brand recognition to start to make hires and invest significant capital into systems that aren't really needed yet. You have to build it to the first step. You got to lay the foundation. But once you get to that next phase, the conversation changes. And that's exactly where this podcast comes in to unlock that vision for you. And really follow along my journey as well. I want to share the tactics and insights that I'm learning. I'm not coming to you from a perspective of someone who's accomplished CEO level ownership in multiple companies. That's my goal, that's my vision. And I'm going to be very strategic and pointed with how I get there. So I want to show you guys what are things I'm doing that are working well and what are some things that I think I or you could do better. And as you enter that second phase, that's the mindset shift that happens. It's less about doing the work and doing the thing. You've already got enough knowledge base. You understand your business, you understand your customer and your product. But what you don't understand yet is how to be an operator. Because operators and true CEOs, business owners, think a lot differently than solopreneurs. The conversation is much different. And you start to then think, well, I only have so many hours in the day, but I want to double my revenue, but I can't work double the hours. So you have a time problem. And the only way to fix a time problem is to refocus your workload on the things that you enjoy doing the most, that are the most beneficial for the growth of your company, and your highest value tasks. And I know this can be really hard to start, and it's something that you have to reteach yourself, and you're learning a new skill. and you're essentially, you're an old dog and you're learning a new trick. For the last few years, all you've known is the complete opposite. If I want something done right, do it myself. Or why would I hire someone for that? I'll just do it. You have to break free of that mindset. So one thing that's really helped me to create this more clear framework and actually take actionable steps is, I would say, two things. There's an awesome book called Atomic Habits. A lot of people have read it. Typically people think of it in the sense of, get better in the gym or have better personal habits. But I think the framework really applies to this phase for an entrepreneur as well. And an idea that's really hit home with me, that's helped me make this transition more seamless, is don't look at the entire picture all at once, right? Don't think I have to rework my entire business. I need to have the perfect plan, and I need to build out a marketing department and hire HR and build out a sales team and invest in AI. That's too much all at once. Start with one thing. And like the book Atomic Habits says, start with a foundational, consistent commitment that you make, that you can build off of. So for example, if your goal is to get up early in the morning and go to the gym, well, let's start with the one thing first. First thing, alarm goes off. First habit, get right out of bed. Okay, now you know you can get up. All right, great. Second habit, when you finish getting out of bed, go drink a glass of water, brush your teeth, and get active. Do some push-ups, do some stretching, do something to get your blood flowing. Now you're starting to build a sequence of events off of that one cornerstone moment. And you can apply the same thing to business. But once you get that sequence in place, it's so easy just to rearrange the order or add different components in to ultimately create your system and your philosophy. So applying that to business, that might be something where, for example, how do you start your day when you get to the office? Well, for me now, my day starts early in the morning, 7:30. That first 30 minutes is me prioritizing my day. Because then I can rearrange the blocks, I can rearrange the order. I know that the things I'm setting time in my calendar to do are intentional and they actually move the needle in my business the way I want it to go. So taking that time to look at your calendar and doing a calendar audit allows you to then create that initial habit that's prioritizing your day, looking at what tasks you have to accomplish, and picking the ones that are the most impactful or influential for your business, that you enjoy doing the most. Everything else, now you have a who problem, because you have all these other tasks that you don't want to do, or maybe you're not best at. We're not all best at everything. Solopreneurs think that they're the best at everything, but once you find the right person, you realize you're probably not. So you have a who problem. Not how am I going to still get all those other things done? Who do I need to do these things for me? Maybe you're someone who loves customer relations, but you don't like marketing. You like, you're business savvy, you're in sales, you want to talk to the customers, you want to service your partners, but you don't want to do marketing. Well, then don't do marketing. Hire someone to do marketing. Chances are they're probably going to do it better, probably more efficient, and it gives you more time to go focus on the other tasks that generate you more money. Go getting more customers, focusing on the business growth. So don't think about how. It's not how can I do all these things. Who do I need to add to pick up the slack where I'm not as efficient or in activities that I don't enjoy doing as much? And one helpful exercise that I've done to kind of figure this out is first zoom out. So take a look at what your 1 year and 5 year goal is. Where do you want your company to be? Where do you want yourself to be in 5 years? Do you want to be in a position where you're a CEO managing a few people on your marketing team, in HR, in sales, in finance? Do you want to be the visionary of your company? You need to know your vision, because that's going to change the work that you're going to do tomorrow, the next week, the next month. So set that vision. And then once you set it on a macro level, 5, 10 years, then you go, okay, what do I need to accomplish this year to make that happen? And set that goal. And don't think in terms of revenue. It's not revenue. Revenue is the byproduct. Don't think about how much money you need to make, or how many properties you need to buy, or how many products you need to sell. Those are important metrics for the business. The KPIs are important. But first figure out the plan that's going to help you achieve those. So, for example, that might be you need to hire an executive assistant. That might be you need to hire a marketing person, someone to manage your marketing. That might be you need to hire someone to manage your inbound leads, like a sales production manager. Well, what will hiring those do for you? Okay, they'll give you more time to go focus on business growth, to get more revenue. So ultimately, you just have to believe in yourself that if you had more time, you would take advantage of it to go get more money for the business, for the company, with these people you hired to make the investment in their compensation well worth it. And as you're heading in that direction, once you know the 1-year plan, if my goal this year is to hire another loan officer for my team, hire a sales production manager, hire a marketing manager, hire an executive assistant, bring on a property manager, those goals are all in line with my vision. Spend less time doing the operations. I don't want to do the minute work that I think other people can be better at than me. I want to focus on the higher level vision, making sure that my clients are taken care of, making sure our systems are in the best possible order to be the most efficient, to help make the client experience the best that it possibly can. Taking care of our client, our referral partners or our business partners, and curating the vision for the company. To me, that's the most highest value task that I enjoy doing the most. So I need to figure out how to offload everything else. But once you have that clear vision set, and of course with those metrics comes revenue metrics, but you need to figure out the high level first. The revenue becomes the byproduct. Solve big problems, you get big revenue. So figure out the problems you need to solve first before you figure out the revenue. Too many people spend way too much time talking about metrics. I need to have 5 sales this week and 20 sales this month to reach my quarterly goal of X. Okay, great. All you did was put down a bunch of numbers. You didn't figure out anything relative to the plan. Figure out the plan first and see how the numbers fit into the goal, is at least how I've done it. You might have a better philosophy. If you do, let me know because I'm learning. But I think this is what's worked really well for me. So once you have that plan for the year, you have those high-level goals set, we need to now translate that into work. What action and work do I need to put in my schedule to create this outcome? And what is the most important tasks to put in my schedule? We need to break that down a couple ways, into quarterly goals, quarterly themes or projects or actions we need to take. So example, a quarterly theme might be like hire a marketing manager for Q1. That's a good quarterly goal. Takes a little bit of time, but can definitely be accomplished in a quarter. Q2 might be have marketing manager have 90% control of all brand growth and asset management. So they're managing all your branding, all your posting, all your scheduling. That's a logical progression for them. By the end of the year, your goal with them might be, I'm only involved in 5% of the work on a consulting basis to make sure we align on the vision. Now you've set a realistic goal, because in this case, your problem was time. You didn't have enough time to do more revenue. So we need to replace the time. And this is one philosophy or system you can think about it in. And then once you have that quarterly vision, it's been helpful for me to go as far as monthly goals, and then even translate it into weekly time blocks. So that is super important to make sure you're creating and taking the action that actually matters. Not all work is productive. I know a lot of people who work hard, but only a few people who actually work strategically. We've all heard the phrase work smarter, not harder. Too many entrepreneurs don't do that. So set the yearly goal, set your quarterly goals, set your monthly goal, and then make sure that the time you're spending on your calendar day to day is directly in line with the highest possible outputs to achieve those goals and objectives. So take an audit of your calendar. It sounds crazy to do, but as you go through the day, every 15 minutes or every time you complete a task, write down what you just did and how long it took and how you felt about it. It's a very time-consuming exercise. It's a lot of work, but do that. And then actually go through. You can put those into ChatGPT or an AI and sort them based by category. You can have it sorted by what task can be done by a marketing manager, what task can be done by a virtual assistant or an executive assistant. And then have it sorted into those buckets and figure out, you'll see pretty quickly, oh, I only like doing certain CEO level tasks or management level tasks. I don't like doing marketing. I didn't like any of the tasks that I did. Well, one person there can solve these 3 problems. How many hours a week am I going to save if I solve that problem? So then build that into your schedule. My goal is now to hire a marketing manager, a salesperson, based on the audit of my time. And it completely changes the framework. To now you're not just guessing. I want to do whatever, $1 million in revenue or $500,000 in revenue, whatever your number is. That's a good goal, but goals without a plan and without intention don't come to fruition. And then stay the course. It's going to be hard in the beginning because essentially what you've done is when you're a solopreneur and you want to scale, there's a period of time where the only solution is more work. Because now you're trying to hire people, build systems. At the same time, you are already working as hard as you can to keep the business. But stay the course. Goals don't care how tired you are. Take this framework. Hopefully it's helpful to you. You can tell I get fired up about it because I am. I think it is an awesome journey for an entrepreneur to reach this phase, and I'm excited to take you along with me for the ride. Thanks for listening.